So if you're someone who keeps up with the regular Nintendo Switch news cycle at all, you probably know to expect the next Nintendo Direct to take place in the month of September, as if you look at history, that is just always when Nintendo holds that presentation historically, and they haven't missed a year in I don't know how long now. But in the month of August, we do know to expect things from Nintendo, such as their presence at Gamescom, and they may be doing something like new minor game announcements there. I don't think that we'll see an entire full-blown presentation where they go into things like a new console reveal and the launch lineup and a new Mario and Donkey Kong that we don't know about right now, besides Mario Bros. Wonder and all of that. No, but they may show up with one or two minor games. But outside of that Gamescom presentation, we may now have something else to look forward to, especially if you are a Pokemon fan on the Nintendo Switch, because it does appear that there has been a data mine that has essentially revealed an exact date with the code Pokemon Presents in there, and we need to get on the same page on all the details of what's been revealed here and what we may be able to expect from this upcoming supposed Pokemon Presents in August right now. What's up, nation? Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification if you haven't already. And as mentioned, guys, today we are discussing a Pokemon Presents and the likelihood that it could be taking place in the month of August. And if you are a Pokemon fan, you probably realize that while there's a ton of content out there to be enjoyed, and you may even still be playing through some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet while you're awaiting the DLC, in comparison to a standard year for the Pokemon Company, we actually haven't had near as many Pokemon-related announcements that have been meaningful. We know that Detective Pikachu is on the way later on in 2023, but outside of that and the DLC expansions for Scarlet and Violet, granted there are two of them coming, we don't know really what else the Pokemon Company has been up to, and there's actually been some interesting leaks that may reveal what is at this event if we can indeed expect it to take place. But to first get on the same page with exactly what's been spotted here and why people are suggesting that in August we will get a Pokemon Presents, aka the next Nintendo Games presentation, let's quickly hop over to Nintendo Everything and read through their detailed typed up article together. Datamine suggests Pokemon Presents event is happening in August. Fans have been digging through the latest update for Pokemon Masters EX, specifically version 2.35. Some code is included that mentions a campaign start date of, well, you can see the numbers there on screen, I'm not going to read all of those, that essentially translates to August 8th, 2023. Here's a quick look at what was found specifically. Now you can see under scheduled, there is 572W campaign Pokemon Presents, and then you have the start date and end date that essentially breaks down to August 8th, 2023. If we do get a Pokemon Presents in August, there's plenty that could be shown. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet still have two big waves of DLC, and we could get new information about them. On top of that, the long-awaited sequel to Detective Pikachu Returns, is coming out for Switch in October. Outside of the initial trailer shown during the last Nintendo Direct in June, we don't know much else, so an update there could also make sense. Obviously, it makes sense for Pokemon Masters EX to be here as well, and there are other possibilities like the latest on Pokemon Sleep. Now, a more detailed look at Detective Pikachu Returns will be nice. I'm still not sold on that game at all. I did not play the one that was out on the DS, or I believe 3DS actually. I never played that game, and I'm not necessarily super hyped for it, but whenever it comes to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, that is interesting to me, but also not something I'm holding my breath for. While I did really enjoy Scarlet and Violet and really appreciated the different direction that Nintendo went in with the multiple stories and their first stab at a true open world Pokemon game, yes, it had its fair share of bugs and glitches. I mean, you can say more than its fair share, and they really still haven't addressed a lot of the performance issues with the games, to be fair. Granted, I don't think that we will see them ever address that, unless if we do get that rumored patch for next-gen Nintendo Switch hardware alongside of DLC 2, but that's all exciting stuff, and it may get me to get back into Scarlet and Violet a little bit. But there is another outstanding rumor in the Pokemon world that we have not talked about on the channel, and it has to do with what Pokemon may be getting next in terms of a Legends-style game, which, if you know anything about me and my love for Pokemon games, it is that I am kind of hit and miss on the series. There are certain games that I find myself spending hundreds of hours through. I really enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for whatever reason. I got super into the gameplay loop on those games, and I went shiny hunting like crazy for the entire Pokedex. I spent hundreds of hours before moving on to anything else. I just thoroughly enjoyed those games when they were released. Then when it comes to games like Sword and Shield, I did enjoy them, and I put a solid 70 hours or so completing the entire campaign, but I really never went back to the games outside of that. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are excellent remakes, but for whatever reason did not hook me, and I have yet to actually complete my entire playthrough of Shining Pearl, which is the version that I own. So still on my to-do list in the background to go back and enjoy that, but I'm not the most consistent hardcore Pokemon fan out there by any stretch of the imagination. However, one game that did ultimately captivate me and really, I will say, is a solid 70, 80, 100 hours, whatever I clocked in my total at, as the most enjoyable Pokemon experience gameplay-wise to date was none other than Pokemon Legends Arceus. I truly think that this formula is the true evolution of what Pokemon should be in the future. I actually felt like Scarlet and Violet was a pretty clear step back from some of the mechanics that they put forward in Legends Arceus. While the open world in Scarlet and Violet was excellent and definitely more vast than what you can experience in Legends Arceus, I felt like the core of how you interact in the world within Pokemon within Legends Arceus was far superior when it comes to sneaking through the grass and trying to catch many Pokemon with just being able to freely throw your Pokeball and aim it and dodge roll and actually be able to be attacked by Pokemon in the overworld. I did not feel that kind of intensity with any other Pokemon game in the entire franchise up to Legends Arceus's release. And to this day, I will stand by that it is my favorite experience that I've had in a Pokemon game so far. So clearly, walking away from that game, I didn't know if Pokemon would go back to the more traditional formula for their next games, and Scarlet and Violet, while evolving a lot and bringing it into an open world, definitely expanded the boundaries in the direction of what Game Freak is doing with the series. It again felt like a half step in terms of the mechanics, and it kind of went back to that more traditional style Pokemon game, which again, I am a fan of in general, but they don't always hook me on every release. Well, it is very exciting to me that there is a outstanding rumor from Riddler Koo, who is extremely reliable in the Pokemon leak community, that suggests that another Legend-style game could be in the works, as you can see this post over on the R Gaming Leaks and Rumors Reddit, where it reads, "The next Pokemon game is seemingly a black and white sequel." This info comes from both Riddler Koo, very credible Pokemon Riddler, and Central Leaks leak reporter. It links to a couple tweets, but at the bottom it says, just for clarification, it seems they're hinting at a Legends Arceus style sequel, not a remake. So the prospect of a second Legend-style Pokemon game being revealed at this Presents in August definitely has my hype levels quite a bit more peaked, because knowing the Pokemon Company, they are a very active studio. They normally have numerous projects all circulating at the same time with different teams and different sections of different teams working on various projects, and I do think that something like a Legend-style game could be on the table for a release as soon as early 2024. While I talked about 2023 being a lighter Pokemon year, you rewind just 1 year before that, and in January we had Legends Arceus drop, and then we had Scarlet and Violet hit at the end of the year, but just before that January, in the end of 2021, in November, we had Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl drop. That is a ton of Pokemon in just a little over 1 calendar year, or within a calendar year actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Pokemon Company has some interesting surprises up their sleeves, and I think it's a great time to start talking about them for the Nintendo Switch, because while we do have plenty of exciting Mario projects to come, like Mario RPG as well as Super Mario Bros. Wonder out later this year, and we will probably learn of a couple more surprise shadow drop for something like Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, and maybe even a other surprise 2023 game, I do think that Pokemon has a good shot of filling out some more of the Switch roadmap over the next 6 to 9 months, and hopefully we learn about it on August 8th, which will be here before we know it. But I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts and opinions on this latest round of Pokemon data mines that may have just revealed the next Presents date. Do you buy into it, and you do think that August 8th is the date and it makes sense and they will likely reveal multiple new Pokemon projects there? Are you hyped for any in particular, like I am, like a Legend style game coming back, which sounds like it would be set in the black and white world, but kind of sequel to it? Are you someone who is already currently sold on Detective Pikachu Returns, or would you like to see more on that game as well? And how are you feeling about the potential for Scarlet and Violet DLC information? And do you think that we will ever get some kind of performance patch, whether it be for the current Switch or the next gen Switch with those particular games? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before we leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.